Good evening and welcome to our second ASBDA Young Band Director Outreach. We're so grateful that you're here with us today. We are snow daying it up here in DeSoto County. We are so excited that you're here. This evening we have Mr. Artie Adams. He is, I feel like, a legend in our state, and he's going to talk to us about recruiting beginners, which is something that's really important to all of us, as well as the sight reading process, which is coming faster than we probably all want to admit. We are so excited that you're here with us this evening. We do ask that you put any questions that you have in the chat box. We have with us, my name is Kim Pickering. I'm from Lewisburg High School. We have with us Carrie Swindoll from Germantown Middle School, Ben.mclemore from Lewisburg Middle School, and Kris Chandler from Gautier High School. And so our committee will be happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, if you'll just place those in the chat, and we'll get to those at the very end. And without further ado, thank you so much, Mr. Adams, for being here, and I will turn the floor over to you.
Well, you are certainly welcome, and thanks for having me. I'm not so sure about that legend part, so we'll just skip that part. A few ideas that I've been trying to look over when Kim called me the other day concerning recruitment for beginners. There's a million things that can be done, and I've seen different schools do it so many different ways that just because you recruit one way doesn't mean it's going to always work that same way. And from school to school, there's going to be variations, and so there's other ways of getting around problems that might pop up. So really, having said all that, you just have to be flexible from the very beginning. Let administration, counselors, teachers, let them know that you are a team player and that you're there to help the students. And so it's really a good idea to try to get on board and befriend the counselors and administrators, especially. There's many times when scheduling is just a real problem. So the quicker you can get scheduling taken care of from year to year, making sure that time slot is there for your beginners. I know from personal experience, I had several years of really smooth scheduling, and something came along, a new counselor, and during the summer, they would get the idea of like, well, let's just change up the schedules and cut band time and activity time and all that. So you just have to be able to roll your sleeves up and just work and deal and, try to work out the best possible scenario for scheduling. Along with administrators and counselors, of course, contact the teachers. Let them know who you are through email or face-to-face, whatever, but don't be like the stranger this kind of holed up in the band hall somewhere on campus. Be visual. Let them know who you are, and try really hard to build up those relationships. That is critically important. But getting back to scheduling, that is one thing that I see now as I help a lot of schools around the area, around the Laurel-Hattiesburg area, that many times scheduling is just like an afterthought, and the time is very restricted. So I had a conversation recently with the band director that was dealing with this, just a very small amount of time, and teachers pulling kids out of their band class, and it's just a really a real headache. So when those problems come along, you try not to get angry and lose your temper and make enemies, but again, be very, very diplomatic and try not just scheduling, but I just mentioned with teachers with their the testing, the state testing coming up here in the spring. teachers wanting to pull kids out of class. That's real common around our area. I'm not sure if that happens all across the state, but around the Laurel-Hattiesburg area, I know a lot of band directors that are struggling with teachers pulling kids out at random. That's just, one example of some of those battles you have to fight with, teachers and counselors, and trying to figure out something of when you could, try to work around those problems with schedules, or either times when teachers are trying to pull kids out of your class. Again, you just have to be diplomatic and, try to stay very professional and positive. That's oftentimes very difficult to do, to stay positive when there's somebody just seems like they're bent on getting kids out every single day. So that's something that is an issue at times. I kind of moving on from that topic. I have worked with student teachers for many years while I was still teaching there at South Jones, and then in my years since South Jones, I have worked with USM student teachers. I think that's like 7 years now that I've traveled and been a supervisor for the student teachers in this area. And one thing that I really try to focus on and try to encourage the young teachers is you have to sell your product. You have to be positive. You have to be like a used car salesman. You have to have the energy and the enthusiasm to sell to the kids what we're trying to do. A lot of times I have seen teachers, not just student teachers, but those of us who have been in the classroom for a while, that it's just not a lot of fun. It seems like everything is just cut and dry, and there's it's all business. And especially like if you're dealing with the younger students, you really need to work out a way to show your enthusiasm and show them the possibilities and the excitement and the awesome things that they could be a part of if they're in the band program. So we have to be proactive. That's one thing that I always like to try to push is don't be reactive, but plan ahead and try to be proactive to be the best salesperson for the product that we're trying to offer to the kids. So again, sometimes if your personality is a little bit introverted or a little shy, you just have to become an actor and really put on your game face to try to sell the product and to have energy and enthusiasm, and that is contagious. Thinking back in our own lives, in the going through school, college, high school, whatever, those teachers who were enthusiastic and had a really positive attitude, those really stand out, and as compared to the teachers who were monotone and cut and dry and seemed like they were just there to just pass time or maybe pull a paycheck. But you have to really think about how you present yourself to the kids. So that is something that I really try to stress with young teachers. So certainly that's the case if you're trying to recruit and trying to win kids over to give it a try. So that is also something that's very important. And I'm not looking for questions or anything. Miss Pickering, if you would like to speak up, or let's have questions like during this time, please feel free. I don't want to just sit here and give a speech the whole time, so we can interact.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. If anybody in here has questions for him along the way, if you want to shoot those in the chat, and I'll be happy to present those, and we'll get you an answer to your question.
Very good. Thanks. All right. The next topic that I wrote down for some ideas about beginner recruitment and things like that is during the year, fall and spring semesters, I would try to find ways to perform for the elementary school, especially those upcoming fourth or fifth graders, kind of depending on what your school has for your first year beginner band. Usually, most schools that I see is the vast majority sixth grade. Some are a little bit later, seventh grade. So find your target audience and perform for them. Pep rally type stuff in the fall. Have the drummers go and play, or if possible, have like a small ensemble jazz band with something that I tried to use a lot at South John's. We would load up those kids and go out to the feeder schools and play as often as we possibly could, just to put the kids in front of those younger children. And so that's something that's very important, is let the younger kids see you, learn who you are, and see and hear what some of the high school kids can do. Let's see what else I have on my list over here. Oh yeah, something else that I did for several years there at South John's is I would recruit, or mostly twist their arms a little bit and try to get a principal or a couple of teachers to join us on stage. And so, you might hand them a tambourine or a cowbell or a bass drum mallet, or in one case for several years, I had a teacher at one of the feeder schools. When she was in high school, she was a Lions All-State clarinetist. So as soon as I found out that the lady could play very well, I said, look, on each concert, I want you to get on the stage with your clarinet, and we will play it up and really have a good time. So not sure how many all-state players you may have as teachers around, but certainly you can include just principals, teachers, and kind of be humorous and kind of laid back and just have fun with it. So that also really builds rapport, with the audience. So that's something else that just shows like a positive attitude and enthusiasm to promote bands. So that's something that did work very well on several occasions, is to get principals or someone up there to help you play. Also, another thing, as far as recruiting beginners, is I would be careful from time to time and choose well-spoken high school kids and have those kids go with me on like an introductory tour, passing out papers, and sometimes we would meet all the kids at one time, like say like in the spring, have all the fifth graders come in out to the auditorium, or sometimes we would go class to class. But I think it's very smart to take some of your well-spoken high school students with you, and let the fifth graders or sixth or whoever you're dealing with, let them see and hear the high school kids, and just make sure that you're careful and you filter that, so you have really high quality students that is out there campaigning for you. Also, at times, and again, you have to be flexible, but we've had show and tell where I would bring several high school students, like one flute, one clarinet, one saxophone. And so we would go through and let the high school students have show and tell, and tell a little bit about the instrument, play like a real easy pop tune or something like a little pep rally, go team go, or something like that for them. And so again, you're trying to sell the product and build enthusiasm. So those are some really good ideas if you're allowed to do that in the classroom or maybe the auditorium or something like that. But those are certainly some really good ideas. Are there any questions or any comments up to that point about contacting students or having high school students help you? This is a very quiet crowd.
I'm not seeing any questions right now, but I will definitely
Okay.
on it.
All right. not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to keep going. All right. So, again, feel free to just, maybe share what you've seen work, maybe something that has not worked. So anyways, let's keep moving along. All right. So we covered high school students. um, Something else that I've seen done in past is when you do have those concerts and events to where you're in front of elementary school kids, sometimes, especially in marching band, if you would take some of the marching trophies and put them out in front of the stage and let the younger kids see the trophies, or the high school students have, like the ribbon medals, have them wear their medals or something like that. Just for really like an attention getter, like a prop that would get their focus to see that, band is something that you can not only learn to play an instrument, but you can go and compete and travel and, things like that. And I would always try to relate when the band traveled to like Disney World or Six Flags or some of these places like that, I would always make sure that those younger kids know that band is a special place, that we get to travel. Yes, we get to, to compete and play at Friday night football games and, just, name the whole list of activities that you do in the band program. And of course, you can maybe go into more detail. If you do have a jazz band, talk about that opportunity. Also, one thing that doesn't really sink in with the kids, but if there's parents around, you can certainly talk about college scholarships and the money that is offered to band students to play their instrument in college. And so that was something else that we always talked about, is all the side benefits of being in band, the travel and the scholarships and things like that. So just try to brainstorm as many positives and many good things that's going on in your program, as many good things as possible. The more, the better. So again, that goes back to what I said earlier about you have to be a salesperson. You have to really promote and sell the product that we're offering. Let's see what else is on there for that part. There's another topic. This kind of goes back to counselors and administrators. I've seen it done various ways with when you would have show and tell or instrument auditions for the upcoming beginner students. Again, you have to be flexible with that. Recently, I helped out last week, actually, with a local school around the Hattiesburg area that they had all their fifth graders come in, and we did instrument tryouts, show and tell. And so they were doing that in order to go ahead and get the kids on track and separated to like brass class or woodwind class or whatever. Now, this was a large school, so I know smaller schools, a lot of times you don't have that luxury to have extra staff and extra classrooms available to teach just high brass or just percussion or whatever. So that's something, that you really need to think about as far as scheduling when you could do your tryout. I know a lot of times bands wait until the fall to try to recruit and have like the the instrument night where the kids come through and try to make the sounds and all that. But with that, you need to communicate with your local music store. If you have a band rep, you need to have their number on speed dial, and you need to make sure that you get on their schedule. Don't wait to like the middle of August and think, oh, I think I need to schedule band night or whatever. So that's too late. So make sure that you're talking to your local band rep. They are there to help you. There's been many times that the band reps have made a huge positive impact for me. So that's something that I would say, do not take that for granted, that they're there to help you. So whether you're thinking about doing the show and tell or the instrument audition time, whether you're thinking about that in the spring or early fall, again, talk to your administrators, talk to your counselors, and certainly talk to the music store rep. That the sooner the better to try to get that going. I did try to send out mass emails and mass handouts. Of course, back in the old days, we didn't use email. We would just photocopy, a form that says "Time to join the band," and I'd put all kind of accolades on there, and make sure that each student in the upcoming grade, every student, had access to that paper, and tell them that you have to take the paper home to your parents, and there's several ways to get that out now with email and paper copies or whatnot. But again, communication is key. You have to be like on your A game with communicating and making sure that you get the word out of what's happening, the instrument auditions, and all that kind of thing. So try to get out there as much as possible. Again, to go back and reiterate the idea about administrators and counselors and teachers, that's extremely important that you're there, and showing them that you're a team player and you're flexible, and you're there to do something good. So are there any questions about some of that instrument tryout time?
We did have one question. It says, what are some best practices in recruitment when your sixth grade classes are in the elementary schools? I have 4 different elementary schools, and we start band in sixth grade by busing them over for 30 minutes Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Wow. That sounds like a full load. So the first part of the question was what?
What are some best practices in recruitment when your sixth grade classes are in the elementary schools?
Yeah. So, all right, cool. That's just going to take some better planning for logistics. And in fifth grade, you're just going to have to figure out a way to, again, get out in those schools. Again, small ensemble, jazz bands, something. Let those kids see what you guys are all about. Again, it might be just a drum line, but caution with just drum line, because then all the beginners want to be drummers. So, which is probably a bad idea. Anyway, you're going to have to talk to administrators and look at scheduling, and seeing, when might be a good opportunity during the day, for the sixth grade, for the fifth grade classes, for them to see you and for you to go speak to them. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of letting them see you, not just some mystery person that they may know your name or they may not. So the more they see you, the more they can hear you speak with like enthusiasm and a positive attitude. That's contagious. So yeah, just kind of work out the logistics there on all those feeder schools, and get in those schools, get it in the classroom, auditorium, whatever it is. Anybody else?
No, I think that was it right now. A resource that we have used with beginner recruiting, if ever I'll put the link in the thing, is bepartofthemusic.org. It's just like it's a no-brainer thing. Like, it'll make you a website if you just put in your information and things like that. Just something for you to be able to get out to people. So I'll be happy to drop in the link.
Yes, that's very good. And on that note, if you do a Google search on this topic, you'll come across a lot of materials. Not only that website, but I found Music and Arts. They have a really good guide for recruiting. I think the actual website is thevault.musicarts.com. The Vault, THEVAULT, thevault.musicarts.com. that's a like a short summary. Kind of gives some good ideas. There's another website, banddirectorstalkshop.com, and another one, banddirector.com. These all have really good ideas on recruitment, retention. Of course, we didn't even talk about retention yet, but that's those are really good. Also, midwestclinic.org has a very good article on, well, it's not just an article, it's like a huge document, actually. Midwestclinic.org. It's an older document from 2006, but there's 20 pages, or maybe more than that, more than 20 pages of lots and lots of ideals in great detail. So as you filter through the website, so, again, some stuff you can see that it's like, that would probably work for you in your particular school. Others, they might not necessarily fit your situation. So you just have to kind of, go through the websites and look at some of the ideas and see what may fit your students, best. So there's a lot of sources out there. Really, in summary, for, beginner band and all that is, I can't stress enough that you have to be flexible. You have to contact the administrators, counselors, teachers. Let the students see your face. Let them know who you are, and come up with different ways to let them hear, the high school band, or in some cases, middle school band is a really good place to play. For the fifth graders that are coming up. So there's lots of ways to go about it. Just maintain that enthusiasm, and remember, you have to be a salesperson. Because if you're not pushing and recruiting and showing the enthusiasm, it's just doesn't happen by accident or by luck. It comes through planning and hard work. That's all about it for the first portion with beginners, unless there's something else.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you so much. That's wonderful information.
You're welcome. All right, on to the second topic. The moment we've all been waiting for is sight reading, what to do and how to do and all that stuff. So for many years as a young, fresh out of school band director, I was so afraid of the sight reading room. I had nightmares as a high school student going through the sight reading room. It was just an awful experience. And so after I started teaching, 2 or 3 years in, I figured like there must be some way to approach sight reading better than just, cross your fingers and good luck with it. So a couple of years ago out at State Clinic, I had a little symposium that I led. It was sight reading, failure to plan is planning to fail. And so that's like a little document that I put up and had a presentation that it kind of goes through some ideas on how to train your students, how to prepare your students for sight reading. So if it's okay, I'm just kind of go down my list. And at some point in time, Miss Pickering, I can email this to you.
That would be wonderful.
You could post this document at some point.
Yes.
So anyway, I will go through that list, and then we can maybe get some more questions and things like that. So number one is know the procedure and process. Does everyone know where to find the band manual on the Bandmaster website? That is my first question that I ask a lot of people. Is if you go to the Bandmaster's website, you go to click Forms, and under Forms, you scroll down and look at MHSAA Band Manual. And that, if you haven't found it by this time of the year, then you may have missed a few things. But find that band manual and scroll down to page 23 and 24. And those are all the guidelines and all the processes that we have for state evaluation sight reading. That's extremely important. So anyway, I see that we have something just popped up about the band manual there. So that's good. All right, so that's critically important. So read over that, review it, and then go back and read it again. So make sure that you understand the process. Second item there is make sure that your students understand the process. Their behavior is important. The way they walk into the room for sight reading is like I told my students, like, when you step foot on the football field for a marching contest or whatever, or if you step foot on the stage for concert evaluation, the way you enter the room matters. So be on best behavior, and there again, of course, you don't have to like march in, like marching band, but just have the kids to be structured and on their best behavior. Make sure that the students who are playing percussion, make sure that they know what to do and know what they're going to play. I've judged sight reading several times, and it's really awkward and odd to see a lot of percussion students come in and they're asking and trying to figure out who's going to play the bass drum, who's going to play cymbals. Don't let that happen in the sight reading room. Make sure that all the percussion students are organized and they know exactly what they're going to do before they step foot in the room. Another thing that I see a lot in, around the state is some of the band directors, younger ones especially, don't know that they're allowed to warm up the band in the room. Now, again, there's some guidelines there. Page 23, I think it's number 8, item E, that talks about how the warm-up should be done, a very short etude or warm-up scale, or maybe a short chorale, just to get the sound of the room and kind of get the air circulating. I would highly recommend that bands do that. Some choose not to, but just know that you do have that option to warm up. And I, as a teacher, I always did that. It just kind of calmed my nerves, it calmed the kids' nerves, and it just seemed to help out a lot. So short warm up, check that out. Here's another problem that I've seen the past several years in judging is when one band leaves, the people setting up music stands and chairs may or may not get your seating chart correct. And I've seen bands come in and students like there's a bass drum on the wrong side, and there's just a mix up. Make sure that when you are getting ready and the kids are coming in, make sure that the seats, the rows, make sure the percussion instruments, make sure all that stuff is exactly where you want it. Okay. The judges aren't going to force you to just like, well, play it like it is with the bass drum on the wrong side of the band or something. So, take time, pay attention to how the seating chart is set up, and you can make it fit exactly how you like it. Okay, so that is really important. Also, there's some more items there. Page 23, number 8, item J, going down to subsets 6 and 7. It talks about when you have other band directors coming into the room. There's some guidelines on that during the prep time, that it's allowed for them to make some changes here. It's allowed for them to help out with some of the prep time. Let me pull up another document here on my computer. That was the wrong document. All right, here we go. There we go. Sight reading. Yeah, so they can help count and check fingerings and all those things of that nature. Check for accidentals, strange rhythms, whatever. So during the prep time, those other people can be around the kids and help and count, or whatever. Looking at the prep times, class 1A through 3A, 1, 2, and 3A, the prep time is 8 minutes. 4A, 9 minutes, 5A is 10 minutes, and 6 and 7A is I think it's, well, I just the document. Let me find it again. Well, when you move documents, sometimes it covers the other ones up. Yeah, 6A and 7A is 11 minutes. Sorry about that. So, yeah, just know all the rules and regulations on the time factor of what you can do with the other people in sight reading. Then, once time is called, and you have, it's, time to play, those people have to step back away from the kids, and they can no longer help during the performance. All right. Now, one question that I have about sight reading is, during the performance, should the band director sing, talk, count, whatever during the performance? Is that something that we have seen done, or has anyone here done that personally, like talking, singing during the performance? I'm not seeing any questions pop up. I'm not sure. Let me just go ahead and say, only call out rehearsal numbers or problems or something that that happens. Only call things out, like maybe like a reminder for like a forzando, or like a some type of fermata coming up. It's okay to call out some of those things, but do that with caution. A couple of years ago, there was a really strong band playing, and I was one of the sight reading judges, and boy, the band was playing very well, but the band director never stopped talking through the entire performance. And I'm shaking my head thinking, if you'll just let them play, it would be so much better. So be careful. And that was coming from nerves. I'm sure it was just, nerves of the young band director. So yes, you're allowed to speak and, say a few things during the performance, but certainly be careful and don't overdo it. Okay. So that's just a word of caution. Let's see what else on that part. Are there any questions popping up there, Miss Pickering? You see anything?
No questions right now.
All right. Okay. All right. Good deal. Something else that I like to tell everyone when we're dealing with sight reading is make sure you know what the judges are looking at. Now, that is the case for marching band, concert, and sight reading. So pull up the forms. You have a form on the band manual there, the judges forms, and you could go down the list and see what the judges are looking for, as far as the content, the intonation and phrasing, and just, whatever it is. See, I had that form somewhere. I had the form copied from the band manual. Yeah, so it shows you the breakdown of points and things like that, from superior, excellent, good, fair. That's something to to be aware of. But the main area is, be aware of, like, what are they looking for in sight reading. So you can just scroll down through there. Tone quality. Oh my goodness. Like everything else we do, tone quality is like the first item that's listed on the sight reading sheet. Intonation, rhythm, balance, blend, dynamics, and just past that, we see the category of how you interpret, or the idea of like a musicianship. The way I see that is if you want to get full credit for interpretation, musicianship, a lot of times I see bands going through like a lyrical section, and it's like they have a metronome going. They're just locked into a certain tempo, and they're not trying to shape phrases. And they're just looking for notes and making sure that they press the right buttons or something. Try, if at all possible, when you're going through and looking, during your prep time, make sure that you look for those lyrical sections that are, more chorale style, and shape those phrases. Be a little more flexible. Take more liberty with tempos when you come up to lyrical sections. That's something that sometimes you might not see that printed on the music, but if during sight reading you can shape phrases and like maybe build in some crescendo somewhere, maybe some decrescendo, that's what that category is talking about. So as far as the musicality part of it, that's really important. So don't be afraid to take liberty to shape those phrases in sight reading. That's something that some bands do very well. Just don't be afraid of trying to shape those phrases. We're doing okay on time. We got about 20 minutes maybe.
Yes, we're doing.
All right. Now, something else other than the style and making sure that you interpret things correctly and shape phrases and all that is for the performance. Sometimes from the concert stage into sight reading, sometimes I would move around some of my stronger first chair players or maybe a second chair player to cover a third part or a second part. So you have your stronger players like first, second, third chair are more spread out. That kind of depends on how weak the bottom of the section is. So on occasion, just to be safe, I have moved some of my stronger players around, like trumpets, clarinets, some of those sections like that. So that's something that you can certainly do. I didn't do it all the time, but it is a pretty good idea just to maybe help some of the younger or weaker players down in the bottom of the section. Now, when should you start preparing for sight reading? Has anyone started yet for this year? Have you started? All right. Oftentimes it's like, the week before a festival, it's like, oh no, let's start learning how to sight read. If that's the case, I would encourage you to start sooner. Start a little earlier than that. Actually, when I started sight reading, I started using the word sight reading or words sight reading in sixth grade band. I would let them know, all right, look, so this was like a short etude. I said, let's do something called sight reading. And so you make it like a little game. I said, all right, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to look through number whatever from the band method book. I said, all right, so I'm going to count you off, and whatever you do, if you make a mistake, recover and keep going. So we're going to go from the beginning to the end with no stopping. And I started that in sixth grade. And so I did it every year, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. And so not every day, just on occasion in those grades. But we don't need to let the kids think that sight reading is some, scary monster that's going to, kind of, jump out and get them or something. Make sure that you sight read often, like with everyone throughout the year. So that's, something that they're used to. It's not something that's like strange and out of the ordinary. So yeah, just make sight reading part of how you teach. Just pick something short and do it. Anyway, one thing that I do try to stress, especially with the younger kids, is how to recover and how to handle when you play a wrong note or your clarinet squeaks or something happens. Kids not being able to recover is is a problem that if they make that a habit, they will struggle with that all the way through school. So, just encourage them, give them assurance that it's okay to make a mistake. We're all human and problems happen. I mean, a saxophone is going to squeak sometimes. However, when you do have a problem, ignore it, catch back up, and just keep going. So you have to try to train them how to recover and don't get like upset or off track if they play a wrong note or something happens. So, doing that to give the kids confidence is something that's critically important. So just, make sure that they know it's okay to make a mistake. Just don't keep making the same mistake over and over again. All right, so that's important. So other than doing sight reading like on occasion with the younger kids, once the students got into high school, especially after Christmas, I would have a sight reading folder. And in that folder, we would have every kind of music, just all kind of music arrangements, some of the UIL stuff, but certainly a lot of other things like, medleys, pop tunes, classic, blues, whatever you can find, just mix it up. Don't only look at just the UIL format. Certainly have some of that in there, but the more music you can expose those kids to, the better. And so, like I think if I'm correct, like starting after Christmas, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, the kids would walk into the band room and they would have their sight reading folders already on the stand waiting on them. So it's streamlined, it's quick and easy, and you're not digging and looking for extra parts, and you can't find a copy for snare drum or whatever. So I checked all the music, have those folders ready, and so the kids walk in, they know, we're going to warm up, we're going to check intonation, and let's sight read. And so that's just a routine that as quick as you can start that, as soon as you can do that, the better. And so that's something as far as just setting the routine for sight reading. All right. Any questions about that up to that point? Sight read often, starting in the early grades. All right. Now, as far as the prep time, okay, let's talk about when you're in the sight reading room with a group. Make sure that during the prep time, if the band director tells everyone to sing or sizzle or airplay or count, when you tell them that, the judges are all sitting there looking at the kids. And if half the kids have their instruments down in their lap and looking around the room, yes, I have seen that before. If those kids are sitting there looking around the room, and they aren't participating with the sizzling and singing and all that, that is a major problem. Okay. So the prep time of how the students are following instructions, their focus on the band director, that is extremely obvious. I mean, you just can't get away with kids goofing off and not following. So really, make sure, stress that the kids really, everybody, 100% need to be engaged and working during the prep time with the band director. Okay, so yeah, don't let that happen for kids just goofing off and looking around the room. All right. One thing about the sight reading room too is try to give the kids encouragement. Tell them, to relax, take a deep breath. Maybe tell them, good job on the stage. Let's have fun with with sight reading, or some way that you can maybe calm the nerves. Just kind of, now don't get too laid back. I mean, it's not a pep rally or something like that, but trying to calm nerves, take a deep breath, and just, have fun with it is, really good idea. Those years back when I was still teaching, I would try to, tell the kids like, look, we had a concert on the stage. We're going to put on a concert in the sight reading room. Our audience is going to be smaller, but we're going to put on a concert in that sight reading room. So that's the mentality that's the approach that you give the kids. And like, so, you know, I mean, they're going to follow your lead. So, and, you know, just encourage them that this is another musical performance. You know, we're going to have fun with it. And the audience is small. Yeah. But let's just, you know, try our best to put on a concert. So that is, you know, one positive mindset that you could use. See what else. Some of my notes I took over here. Again, I have written down here that during the lyrical sections on sight reading, do not be afraid to shape phrases and take liberty with tempo. So that's important. Sight reading sources, of course, method books, rhythm charts, you know, the folders, sight reading folders with lots of sheet music in it. You know, again, make sure that you mix it up, overtures, ballads, marches, pop tunes, or whatever. So, you know, just kind of keep it, you know, random. Don't be like locked into a certain style all the time. And again, there's other websites that has tons of sources for sight reading, rhythm charts, you know, various ideas to improve your sight reading. And that's pretty much on a Word document. I will upload that or send that to you, Miss Pickering, and maybe you could upload that sometime.
Yep.
So that's about it as far as ideas for sight reading.
Thank you so very much. Do we have any questions that would like to throw in the chat? Someone says use all your time. Absolutely.
Yes. If you're, you know, if you have 8 minutes and you kind of get through it in 5, take those other 3 minutes. You know, go back and you know reiterate key change, fermata, you know, whatever. Accidentals, my goodness, accidentals, please. You know, pay attention to those accidentals. So, you know, and don't forget percussion. Okay. It's super important that, you know, you're not only focused on brass and you know, the woodwinds. Make sure that you're dealing with percussion, timpani, you know, keyboards, you know, snare drum, bass, cymbals, whatever. They are critically important. I've seen many a snare drummer completely destroy a good sight reading band because they're looking down at the music stand and they're not watching, and it just completely destroys it. And which that does remind me, make sure that in the setup with your seating chart and percussion and whatnot, that all the music stands are up high enough. Make sure that you adjust those music stands so the kids can see you conduct. All right, that's another problem I see a lot of times. People start sight reading and they're all, you know, looking down way too low and can't see the director.
Any other questions? All right, I'm not seeing any pop up. Thank you so much for with us tonight. This Zoom meeting has been recorded, and we will be able to, this will be posted on the ASBDA website soon, and I will also send out that document to everyone. I know we have a few student teachers on here, and so thankful that you guys are already joining us and jumping in and learning. Yes, someone says, thank you for information, very helpful before festival. So yes, thank you very, very much. We appreciate you guys spending your evening with us. We know you could be doing a million other things, and we thank you for being here. Mr. Adams, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your expertise with us. And we hope to see you guys on the 3rd Wednesday of March for our 3rd Young Band Director Outreach. Thank you very, very much, and you all have a wonderful night.